You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another movie review, and another one of those I was wrong type reviews. One of those times where Corbin was right and I was wrong. So this is very similar to the case with Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where it's a sequel to a slasher movie that I used to hate, but now I quite like, and it's one of my favorites of the sequels now. And this time we're talking about, as you can tell by the title, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. Now, you may initially think, oh, you just didn't like it back then because it didn't have Michael Myers. No, that wasn't the reason. Although, to be perfectly honest, my actual reason probably isn't much better, because after rewatching it, this previous October, actually it was November, it was a couple days after Halloween, but we still did it as part of the Halloween marathon. But with this movie, the reason that I used to not like it was probably because of badly set expectations on my part. So going into it, I knew it was going to be a very different movie. I expected it to be so bad it's good, and the reason I went into it thinking this is because of Ashen's review he did for the Silver Skull series. Obviously that Ashen's review is from forever ago, and Ashen's I don't think has done the Silver Skull series in forever either, but I remember going into it expecting it to be really wacky and zany and over the top so bad it's good. And so I came across bored by the time I finished it the first time I watched it, which again was also several years ago. And then from then on, I just had it in my head that I didn't like this movie. Then it comes around that lots of people start saying that Halloween 3 is actually an underrated gem, and I started to think, oh, people are just being hipster contrarians. And so then it actually started to aggravate me a bit that people were coming around on this movie. Again, it's rich considering I have now come around on this movie. But nevertheless, that was another thing. Of course, with all that, I eventually started thinking maybe I should give it another chance and see what I actually think. And of course, with Halloween coming up, Corbin and a few other people were kind of pressuring me into actually watching it again. And so I threw it on, because I'm like, at the very least it has a cool Halloween-y aesthetic with the costumes and the lighting and the atmosphere and stuff like that. Now, for those of you who don't know what Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is about, it's about a company called Silver Shamrock that's run by these robots using witchcraft to make these masks that will kill little kids by melting their faces into bugs. And I know that sounds absolutely absurd, but it's a lot less crazy than that when you get the full context. It's still pretty crazy when you actually think about it. But there is a lot more like pagan and like Lovecraftian influence in it than I initially gave it credit for when I first watched it. It was a different direction they were going to take the Halloween series in by having it be an anthology series and have a different type of movie every year. I actually would like to see an alternate universe where that happened, but to be honest, I do really like the return of Michael Myers and some of the other sequels, even though a lot of them are pretty bad. Even the bad ones I do quite enjoy. I still like Resurrection, although that one is largely because it's fucking stupid, and it's like so bad it's good. Though in all honesty, the setup for Resurrection honestly kind of reminds me of that British horror movie that aired on TV called Ghost Watch. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That's a fun one. And also caused a whole controversy because people thought it was real and there was a whole bunch of chaos, but that's a whole other topic for another day. As it came down to it, I rewatched the movie, and I gotta say, this movie is fucking great, and I don't know why I didn't like it the first time. The thing about this movie is it's very Lovecraftian in many of its setup points. For instance, the factory where they make the masks is in this isolated cult-like town that is run predominantly by the people at the factory. Very Lovecraftian, isolated, culty kind of town. Very Innsmouth-like, right? In addition to that, the big bad, the main villain, is this sort of weird ancient deity using the powers of Stonehenge to use the masks and to create the robots and stuff like that. So, when I say robots, they're not like super futuristic robots. They're almost like metal skeletons with like wax on them. But they also have, like, working parts and stuff within. But they're made using witchcraft, rather than, just straight-up mechanics and robotics. But the dark atmosphere and the suspense in this movie is great. There's also a huge element of mystery, which, in addition to the ancient deity in the isolated town, also gives it very Lovecraftian vibes, with the guy going to investigate this mystery and try and solve it. Another thing that sets this apart from the other Halloween movies, and indeed a lot of other horror movies in general, the main target the villains are going for are children, in this sort of pagan ritualistic sacrifice. It's pretty dark in that regard, and the part that makes it even darker, and spoilers, part that makes it even darker, the guy's actually too late. Some of the channels are still airing it, and some kids do die. And the movie ends on the suspense knowing that the guy failed to be quick enough to get all the stations to shut down the airing of this commercial, which would trigger the masks to kill the kids. So yeah, consider me a believer in it now. I have come around. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is a hidden gem. It's an underrated movie, and it's one of the best in the Halloween series, if you ask me. I'd have to rewatch them, but I might even prefer it over Halloween 1, which I know is a hot take, but I've already got tons of hot takes with the Halloween series. One's never been my favorite of them. I definitely prefer it over Halloween 2, because I never cared for Halloween 2. But, again, maybe I should rewatch it again and see if my opinion changes once more. I didn't care for the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 either. I loved the first Rob Zombie Halloween, although the dialogue is not great in it, but I did still enjoy the movie quite a bit. But Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 I did not care for. Maybe I'll watch it again and see if my opinion changes on that one too, but I fucking hated it the first time I saw it too. But no, Season of the Witch is great, and I meant to do this review way the hell back after I first watched it, but I've been a lazy fuck with burnout, so there you go. Finally got it out. Corbin was right, I was wrong. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is a great movie, and if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's a good Halloween movie. Not in the sense that it has Michael Myers, but in the sense that it's good to watch on Halloween. This has been Fugitive Red Eye. Have a good one. Toodles.
Listen up, Stonehenge. You take forever to say nothing.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red Eye.